Today, we're going to bring you the newest version of the Marketing Masterclass. It's really meant to help build a brand to win more deals and support your clients in new and exciting ways. So brand building strategies for this competitive market. We're going to talk some social media. We're going to talk some luxury. We have great panelists to help with that. So let's start to welcome in our panelists. Feel free to unmute your video and your audio. It is my pleasure to introduce everybody on the call to four of the brightest minds in marketing. This is actually shaped up as a bi-coastal panel with so many years of experience. So I'm going to say, let's set a timer for each of us. Go around the horn to tell us your name and your title, your location, your background, and one thing that you're excited for the rest of 2023. Name, location, background, one thing you're excited for. So let's start actually. Gretchen, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Sure. My name is Gretchen Coley. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I've been in the real estate space for 23 years. I know I don't look like that, but I've been around for a long time. In general brokerage since 2016. I've been with Compass for 2 years. Totally loving my journey. I run the #1 medium team in North Carolina, and we are in total growth mode. So I am excited to crush the rest of the year. We're putting some really cool strategies in place to expand 30% from year over year.
Oh, that's amazing. And one of the things that I'm excited for is your brand new Zoom room that you have.
Yes.
Yeah, so it looks beautiful. Thank you for preparing that for us today. So let's move to Alex. Alexandra Head, tell us more.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Alex Head. I'm the Director of Luxury with our National Luxury Division team. I work really closely with Felipe right next to me here, who you'll meet in a minute. I'm based down in Newport Beach in Southern California. I've been with Compass for about 6 years now, but joined the industry back in 2004. And I specialize in luxury brand building and brand partnerships. I've always been on the brokerage side and having a great time here at Compass. So really happy to be here today with everyone. One thing I'm looking forward to for the rest of the year is an upcoming trip to Spain. I'll be there for a couple weeks. My whole family's over there. So I'll be doing that in September.
Oh, I love that. And actually, I'm wondering, since everybody's telling me where they are from, I want to know where all the audience is from too. So feel free to drop in the chat where you're joining us from. So you mentioned Felipe. Felipe, let's hear from you. Welcome.
Hi, thanks, Dustin. Hi, Felipe Hernandez. I'm VP of Marketing and I head of the luxury division at Compass. So I've been here for a while, not as long as Matt, but over 7 years now at Compass. And interesting background, I did a mix of luxury fashion and luxury real estate back in New York before I moved to California. So I sit in Beverly Hills right now, but work with agents from across the country. And what I'm excited about is luxury. I'm really focused on the luxury market right now, luxury marketing strategy, especially targeting, wealth mapping, targeting, finding those key luxury buyers across the globe. So that's really what my little focus is right now.
Perfect.
And I'm from Spain as well. So Alex and I are both from Madrid originally.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, across the globe is right. We've got people calling in from most states and Puerto Rico included. So welcome. I should have mentioned I'm in greater Philadelphia area. So I saw some Chester County. Hello. And let's go to Matt. Matt, man on the move. Tell us more about your background.
Hey, everybody. Matt Spangler, former CMO of Compass, regional marketing hire there over 8 years ago. Now an advisor and marketing, fractional marketing leader for their startups and founders. And really excited to share. I just got married I guess 3 months ago now. And so still have to do our honeymoon. So that's going to be what I'm excited about later this year. So
Congrats, Matt. That is so awesome. I love the panel that we have today. Your backgrounds are so varied. So I think we're gonna have a lot of different things to talk about within the umbrella of marketing. So let's start. To really understand where marketing is going, projections and trends, let's back up. Let's try to understand where we've been. And so the first question is going to Matt. Matt, what are the biggest national trends in marketing overall that define the past few years, especially with your experience in and outside of real estate? What are you seeing over the last few years?
Yeah, I think the main ones that jump out to me are actually indicative of not just, I think, the broader market, but also what Compass has done and what I tried to bring to Compass over the last few years. I think the first one that stands out to me is what I would call kind of creator economy, right? Individuals building their own brand. So like people as brands, people as, kind of the personal brand building of people actually building businesses around themselves. And so much of our work that Felipe and the team are doing, and I've done over the years at Compass, is about helping build software platform to allow individuals, like the individual agents and teams, to build their own brands under the Compass like umbrella. And I think that is going to continue to be a massive trend. It's not going away. In fact, I'm seeing this big trend that I see has been growing, I think will continue to, what I would call like super small biz, which is this kind of people either leaving work, that they're existing in, to create small businesses around themselves, around super small communities. And this is something where I'm seeing this, even the launch recently you saw of Twitter actually allowing people to make money off the posts that they do, I think is just a continuing long tail version of the trend that we've seen over the last few years. As you see, it's like something like Twitter's just launching now, but this isn't a trend that's going to go away. It's actually going to grow over the next few years. So, and last I would say is the growth of interdependence. Like it's a move away from just like the sheer individuality into building these smaller communities and then monetizing those. And I've seen this a ton with many Slack groups that are growing, like these independent kind of super niche Slack groups. I'm a member of many of them over the last couple of years, and then more and more interaction business I'm seeing migrating to these places.
It's super interesting. I think automation, and all of these different things people talk about, AI has come up so many times. And so anybody that pre-selected with an AI question, we're going to try to also hit that as a topic today. But, Felipe, with what Matt said about the trends for the last few years, how does that apply to what's been going on in the luxury real estate market? And then also what have you seen different from what Matt's talking about for luxury?
I mean, I think that the definition of luxury has definitely evolved, right? I think the property types have definitely evolved, right? We used to see, that 80s, 90s luxury has definitely evolved architecturally, size, location of properties, a lot more secluded. I think the type of luxury buyer is also very different, right? At Compass, we track all different types of wealth groups, and we're seeing obviously the tech wealth group has grown a lot, tends to be younger, a little more casual, not very similar to the banking wealth group. I think, location, I think even like they're moving away from larger urban areas, and, especially with COVID, looking for more secluded areas. So we're seeing a lot of growth in like some non-traditional luxury markets that are now popping up because people are looking for like something a little more separate. Even just an anecdote here locally in Beverly Hills, while you still have a lot of the celebrities wanting the McMansions, we do see the younger celebrity set looking for something a little more discreet, a little more private, right? So they don't want to be as flashy. So I think we're definitely seeing fluctuations in the type of wealth groups, in age and industry, the type of properties, a lot of more diversity, and like they're not just like the 25-bedroom homes anymore, they're all types of properties, and just the locations they're picking, and we're seeing grow in luxury right now. I think as far as like the trends that are emerging alongside that is storytelling, right? All these different groups are looking for something else, right? I think luxury target groups are becoming a lot more savvy about luxury, right? Real estate has become the ultimate accessory, right? We used to have Chanel and Louis Vuitton and Porsche and Rolls Royce, and now the house is the ultimate accessory. And I think they expect the advertising and the marketing to be at the level of a Chanel and a Rolls Royce. So I think that this luxury clientele, regardless of the age, they're used to this on social media, on video, on YouTube. So I think the quality of the work that we're seeing, that we're trying to develop for our agents, is at that caliber, right? I want my agents to have their listings in a magazine that when the client opens up the magazine, they see the Chanel ad, the Louis Vuitton ad, the Compass ad, and it all flows into their unique lifestyle at a luxury level, right? So I think definitely that storytelling about the property, about the quality of the property, that luxury level is definitely very important. I think the other trend is using technology to locate that luxury buyer, right? I think wealth groups have grown a lot, right? We've seen the growth of the billionaire set, right? It's like it's exploded in recent years. We used to have 2 billionaires, now we have like thousands of them. So we at Compass use wealth mapping technology to kind of locate. It's really not about like the location of the person, it's just where's the wealth right now, right? So we kind of like isolate wealth groups, whether it's tech industry, entertainment industry, lifestyle groups, who owns a yacht, who owns private aviation, and kind of use technology to find those groups and apply them to the type of property or location. So definitely the use of technology to wealth map is something that's growing a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I think the technology aspect is something that I know that your team has done such a great job at helping to identify and then market to these people. And so Gretchen, as Felipe shares trends that have been going on nationally, I'd love to understand what's been going on in your marketplace and if it parallels the national trends or if there's regional nuance for you.
I think there's always regional nuances, but I do think the trends are paralleling. For us in Raleigh, we are such a migratory market. You know, we are a very desirable place to live right now, a place to buy investment properties, whether it's the mountains or the coast. So we're seeing a lot of crossover. It is funny how much more tech things have become. Felipe's helped me with a couple of projects that I've worked on where, you know, we've been able to really put together a detailed potential buyer list that, you know, we've been able to connect with through various mediums of connection, whether it's social, whether it's 3 degrees of separation, phone calls. You know, we're seeing a lot of crossover market to market. And I think that's one of the advantages that Compass has is that, you know, the markets that are feeding into ours are Compass is number 1 in whether volume or units, but they have a huge market presence, and that means a lot from a market to market.
Yeah, and I love that. And the interconnected nature of the company is great. And for people that aren't here, hopefully you've built some sort of national network of people that are working in the same manner. You know, one of those things.
Not to cut you off, Dustin, but just building on Gretchen's point, it's interesting that like the micro community kind of idea that I described earlier, I think we've seen as a trend is actually one of the most powerful things about Compass that Gretchen's talking about. Like the community of Compass agents it's in itself one of the most powerful micro communities like in the industry.
It really is. It's so powerful. And I don't know that we articulate that fact enough because, you know, I'm working on something right now with an agent out of Colorado who has a buyer who's looking at a property that I have. And, you know, it's just, it sometimes often doesn't get said enough, but it is very, very impactful because the people that truly have wealth now are very in trusting relationships with other people. And those relationships are crossing state lines and crossing oceans in order to get a portfolio built that they're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And so with that foundation, one of the things that we move into is really defining our audience and understanding who your audience is and why or what you should be even saying to them. And so Matt, when you're working with new clients in the broad spectrum of marketing, how do you begin the process to help them establish their own brand positioning? What questions should our agents be asking if they don't know where to start?
Well, I think this is something I'm working on as old as time, right? It's like the identification of your own point of view, what your brand stands for, who you are. You know, it's interesting, even in my client work, I'm working now, I just had a meeting, you know, with a set of founders recently who launched a brand, actually a coffee business in New York, got very big, very fast. The story was, you know, I asked them what their point of view was, and they talked a lot about the partnerships they'd done, the other brands that they had partnered with to do campaigns and to help define who they were. And they asked me my opinion on those collaborations. And I said, well, the challenge is not the quality of those collaborations, but you know, you're just borrowing someone else's point of view instead of having your own. And no matter how good those collaborations are, if you don't define your own point of view at the beginning, those partnerships are only going to be short-term and meaningless to the end consumer because you're not building anything that they can look to you to have a point of view around. So that to me is like the most critical aspect of defining your audience is actually defining what you stand for and your own point of view, because the audience is going to be looking for that one. And then 2, knowing your audience, what Felipe and Alexander were talking about before. Like, do people care? And who are those people? That's why I'm always like one of the major things I've worked on with agents over the year is that defining your audiences, tagging, making sure that you have separation, and whether it's your CRM or however you're doing it, and knowing what you're saying to an audience and do they care. So those are to me still today the most important aspects of the trend around defining your audience.
Yeah, yeah. I think knowing what to say to them is the next part, right? And so I dropped something in the chat. We'd love to understand from everybody. Put a me in there if you know your ideal client type, and or say you're still working on it if that's something that you're doing. So, Gretchen, we're going to move to you. When you run not only your own business but that of a large team. You said medium. I think you're huge, so congratulations. But how do you coach the individuals on your team to think about the type of clients they should all be focusing on, and the branding required to do so effectively across all the different types of clients on all of your agents?
I'm glad you asked that question because there is a strategy there, right? I'm a producing agent myself. So my value proposition and how I articulate my ideal client is a little bit different than a brand new agent, right? Because I'm working on a bigger scale. So we start with authenticity. I think that is a word that with all of the filters that we have now, with all of the capabilities that we have through Snapchat, social medias alone, people are not as authentic as they should be, especially if you're in a service-based business. So we start with authenticity. Who are you? What do you like? What are you good at? Who are the people that are circling around you? What do they care about? Does that align with you? And we really try to start them at that circle of people, and we try to build out from there. And as they grow in their business, we really try to dig in with them and figure out, okay, are you into wine? Are you into biking? Are you into hiking? Where are your people? And then we teach them to plant themselves and start to howl from the rooftop so that their tribe knows where they are. Because we are firm believers that we are in the attraction marketing business. We want to attract the people that are like us, and we want to repel the people that are not. And it is okay to not be everything to everybody. I have lived that life before, and it is painfully brutal, right? You get kicked in the teeth a lot, and you end up with a lot of people who burn you out. So for us, it's all about really defining who you are and then diving into that authentically so that your tribe knows how to find you.
Wow. I feel like we're going to have a lot of people dialing in just to listen to that little clip. So poignant. And, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I also love, you can't be all things to everyone. So Alex, let's go to you with what we've just heard. I think it's a great tee up for how you've been helping agents ensure they are talking to the right audience. What are strategies that you're seeing work to align their brands, and then also continue to refine how the audience that they're trying to attract?
Yeah, great question. I think we've already had so many great bullets just come out of like the last two questions on that. But on the luxury side in particular, I think that the most important strategy and what we really focus on is amplifying exposure of a property to the specific audience that you're looking for. So really it comes down to market segmentation. That's like the number one strategy that we're looking at, particularly with luxury. It's really just about applying those strategies to a very niche audience. For some of the properties that we're marketing right now, we might be looking at a potential buyer pool of like under 1,000 people, for example. So mass marketing strategies aren't really going to apply there. And so it's really looking at beyond net worth, although that's obviously like a very easy starting point of understanding, who is actually able to purchase a property at that caliber. But beyond that, it's looking at the lifestyle components, which Felipe touched on a little bit earlier as well. And then really aligning all of the marketing strategies, complete 360 campaign to really speak to a very specific audience and a very specific segmentation of a buyer pool that you're looking at. And so just to contextualize that a little bit, I have a couple examples of recent projects that we've worked on. One that comes to mind, Gretchen mentioned wine. That's a big category for us in the luxury space. We worked on a vineyard project that had a property on a functioning wine vineyard as well. And so the business was part of the sale. And so we worked with the agent to identify their top 50 potential buyers that not only had the lifestyle criteria as far as, where they lived and that they had the net worth applicable to that as well. But we looked at who had an interest in wine or had wine actually as part of their overall asset portfolio for wealth. And then we curated a very customized campaign that was specific to those 50 people. And so from that, he converted that marketing campaign into 6 new listing pitches that he went on. And then also, of course, marketing the property to a very broad audience when he came over to Compass. So he used that as an opportunity to sort of market that he had joined Compass and come over to the brokerage, and then also to market the property. So that was a huge success for him, and something that we use as an example of a targeting strategy where we're able to get very, very detailed within our proprietary wealth database that we utilize here, but also it's just a great example of how you can apply that targeting strategy to a very small audience. Another one that we've done recently was actually 2 agents out of Felipe's market in Beverly Hills. They had a listing that they had identified a key categorization being yachting as kind of an overlapping campaign that we were going to be activating for the property. And so within the wealth mapping strategy, we saw that a lot of these candidates, and it was under 200 people, were all part of the same global yacht club. And so they actually sourced an event opportunity in Monaco where they could promote the property, where a lot of these candidates are going to be at the same time. So they actually flew to Monaco, presented the property, and sourced the buyer directly from that event as well. So again, it's really looking at how can you align the specific lifestyle categorizations, and what Felipe touched on earlier, making sure it's very cohesive, that it's part of their overall ethos of their lifestyle, and that there's total synergy across each of those touch points. I think that's where we're seeing the most traction on the luxury side, particularly in kind of the current climate where your clients are going to be receiving, mass marketing messages everywhere they go. When you're speaking to them, you want to make sure that it's just very targeted to their lifestyle so that it's very seamless within the entire strategy.
Yeah, I love that. 2 things that I think come to mind. One, the next trip to Monaco, please let me know. I'm gonna come. But it really focusing on those interests in targeting, and you hit on a lot of things, luxury, and we think of Monaco and vineyards and stuff as ultra high end. So Felipe, I want to ask you, help us define what luxury means at Compass. And I think that for me, and hopefully I'm not stealing your thunder, but it's not all $25 million properties. It's not all, but hopefully you agree with me. But how do you define luxury?
We actually go very granular. We go because it isn't 25 million and up, when you do this blanket statement. No, we go market by market, sometimes neighborhood by neighborhood. Whatever is considered in a particular niche market, luxury, that's what we where we jump in, right? So in Beverly Hills, for example, it starts at 10 million. There's other markets where it starts at $1 million. So we really do go in on what's appropriate. But even Dustin, even when we do have that, in some cases, we had one example a few months ago, there was a Schindler property, and it was in Beverly Hills, way under the 10 million. It was under 3 million. That's a luxury buyer. That's someone who's an enthusiast of architecture, who's an art collector, probably. It's a Schindler. That's a landmark property. So we still treated that as a luxury property, even though it wasn't at that, price point. So I think to Alex's point and the diversity of luxury, is it a luxury buyer? Is this going to be a luxury buyer? And then it should be treated with a luxury marketing strategy, right? Not solely on the price point. In some cases also, the primary home might be a $20 million property. Doesn't mean that the secondary, the vacation home, is going to be 20 million. They might be buying a $1.5 million beautiful condo in Hawaii. That's a luxury buyer because that's a luxury seller. So I think it's really defining the type of property and target and not basing it solely on the price point, which I think is dangerous and kind of lazy.
I agree. And why I think that it is somewhat lazy is because these takeaways, these best practices that we see for luxury can be applied to any price point, because as we know, a purchase should feel luxurious. That's what we want to do for our clients, no matter the product. And so help us to understand one key takeaway or one strategy that your luxury agents are using to continue to grow their brands this year and make it applicable to any price point. That's what we're looking to do today.
Yeah. Listen, I think the biggest thing, I'm going to follow up on what Gretchen said, because I couldn't agree more. What I keep telling them is that, especially with these wealthy target groups, it's a trusting relationship, right? You can't just go in there with a just listed postcard, right? Be authentic, show your strengths, talk about why you are the best agent for their property, right? Regardless of the price point. A lot of my luxury agents say, it's like, I'm scared of doing too much luxury because I'll lose the smaller, the lower price properties, I was like, don't talk about the price point. Talk about why you're the best agent. Talk about why you're the best at client services and knowing the neighborhoods, and knowing the architecture. Be authentic about it. I always, tell agents, they're like, everyone's doing TikTok videos. Should I do it? I was like, do you want to do it? Are you good at it? No, I hate it. Okay, so don't do it. No one's going to follow you. It's going to come through. So I think really telling a story about your strengths and being authentic about it. Now, a lot of my top luxury agents are very successful. So I tell them, stop being humble. This isn't the time to be humble. You don't have to be flashy and crass, but you should speak with confidence about your performance, right? The years you've been in the industry, the results you have brought to the client. You're speaking to potential clients. Tell them how this is going to benefit them. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to show off, but you should tell them, hey, listen, I'm being very honest. The same way a wealth advisor would do it, right? These are the results I will generate for you. Regardless, I don't care about the price point. You're my client. I'm going to protect you. And, this could be your daughter's house. This could be your primary home, your vacation home. Tell them how good you are.
Yeah.
And the good ones are doing it.
Yeah, tell them how good you are and make them continue to understand why that applies to them, right? And so you mentioned TikTok. So anybody in the chat that is doing TikTok, feel free to drop in your handle so other people can follow you. We'd love to create connections. And so, on the idea of connections, Alex, with the rise of the remote work and digital nomadism, how are you helping agents to target individuals seeking those second homes that Felipe had mentioned, or even investment properties? Like, what are we doing from the targeting standpoint that people could use today?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think for us, particularly at Compass, kind of circling back to sort of that micro community, we're very, very hyper focused on just building connections with agents and to really align key feeder markets, right? So I think the first step is really understanding what is happening with the movement of wealth in and out of your market, and really knowing what are those top feeder markets, not only where you're getting just like the organic traction, but really understanding where the money is moving. That's how we, start every strategy, is really understanding what those trends are. And then we take that and apply strategies to help connect agents to make sure that they're able to partner with the right markets. And so for us, that really looks like either connecting agents one-to-one, where we're seeing agents build these really organic, beautiful partnerships with a lot of cohesion in those strategies. They're starting to, market each other's properties in social and really promote kind of like those lifestyles, and really avoid selling a property, but really sell the lifestyle of what's happening in the community. It always starts with the brand of where you live, right? Particularly when people are moving to a particular market. And then the other thing that we're doing that we're seeing work really well, that I think could be applied to, to any brokerage could do this, is really like virtual networking sessions, essentially. And so we're moderating conversations between two key feeder markets and making sure that those agents are speaking to each other and really building those very intentional pipelines. And directly from those calls, we're seeing referrals start happening literally immediately, even within the calls. In the chat, we're seeing referrals come back and forth. So we're seeing a lot of traction there. But I think just circling back to like the beginning of the conversation, it's really doubling down on your micro community and building that with a lot of intention. And then again, just really understanding who that target profile is, and building a very unique and strategic and intentional strategy to market to that particular community.
Yeah, intention. Being intentional is definitely something that we try to coach, right? In all aspects. And so, Gretchen, as a follow-up or a continuation of that, you mentioned referrals and the connectedness of this company. So what are you doing? Like, key tip, best practice approach, but what are you doing or coaching your agents to do intentionally to connect with agents outside of your market?
I'm coaching them to get their butts in the room, and I'm following that same advice. It is I love all the virtual stuff. I think it's efficient, right? But it is very hard to build relationships over a screen. Being in the room, taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you. Before I came to Compass, I was with a very small brokerage that had a very small footprint, and it was only regional. I probably did 4 or 5 referrals a year, agent to agent. I didn't see the value in that business. When I came to Compass, one of the things that made it make sense for me was having a network across the country. I was starting to see those migratory patterns happen. And I have been able to be in the room on so many occasions with these intentional events that Compass has put together with agents from specific markets. And I have built relationships, and I have started very small. And now that ring of relationships is quite large. You know, we do a lot of touch points. We retarget them with our, you know, value propositions to make sure that we're staying top of mind digitally with them. We phone call, we reach out with specific properties. We do a little bit of everything, but the fastest way to build relationships is togetherness and doing things that aren't about real estate or real estate conventions. It's more about intentional opportunities to experience life together.
Nah, well said. Experiencing life together reminds me of like getting together around a fire and telling stories together. And so
That's right.
exactly. You know, and Matt happens to be one of those amazing storytellers. And so I know, Matt, you've talked about many times leveraging storytelling to differentiate your brand and connect not only with clients, but colleagues. So like, tell us like some of the ways that you think that storytelling is so key to differentiating yourself.
Well, really, I mean, at the end of the day, right, it's just how are you going further to touch on the emotional sides of things beyond like the facts around something. And I think let's just talk about medium, because I think we could talk about storytelling for this entire hour, but I think one is just what's the best medium for that video. It's why it's such a massively growing and will continue to be growing a sector of marketing, the way we all communicate, etc. The ease of it, the tools are making it easier. It's the definitive way that you can tell a story and go a little bit deeper. Allow people to really get to know you, the authentic self that Gretchen was talking about. My other tip is like, you know, I wanted to bring one this idea around this because video can be daunting for people sometimes, right? But it's just, you know, literally the biggest barrier to success in is your own personal confidence in doing it. And there's going to be the future of no limitation on how easy it is to actually create and do. It's going to be the barrier of you making the decision to do it. So just encouragement around thinking about that as the barrier and trying to knock down that barrier for yourself. And one way to think about it is like, maybe, I love this, someone told me this recently, businesses are built on positive peaks, right? People love and remember the things that you've done for them or as a person or company over time. And so you need to lean into your positive peaks. It might be a couple times a year. Find those big moments and invest in those, build content around them, remind people of them. The Compass Retreat is actually the perfect example. You know, years ago, we were like, what is going to be the big moment that we can do to bring everyone together, that we can build content around, build community, and we developed the retreat program, and it's become a massive success. But individuals can think about finding their own, you know, positive peak moments during the year and then leaving the world.
I would love to add something to that because Matt really helped me realize this. When it comes to video and ripping the Band-Aid off, I was already doing that before I came to Compass, but I didn't realize exactly what I was doing. Video and your marketing around it and the storytelling that goes into it is like multiplying yourself. It's like cloning yourself. So if you can produce 50 videos a year, imagine 50 yous running around telling your story or the story of your market and how powerful that becomes over time. So it's the storytelling, the consistency, and building that little workforce of lead generation that stays in front of your clients, your past clients, and it stays in front of the clients that are yet to come.
Definitely. And so the importance of the brand goes first and foremost to you, the individual, and your team. I think that there's something to be said for the brand that you're associated with too. And everybody that's not currently at Compass, stay with me here because these tips can be applied hopefully to your own world. But Matt, I want to go to you for how, when you were thinking about continuing to leverage the power of branding, specifically the Compass brand, and differentiating yourself as an agent, how are the best agents doing that, leveraging their own brand, but marrying it with that of their national brokerage like Compass?
I think the ones I see in the Compass network that lean into it the best are the ones that are, because remember, brand's a broad thing, right? For Compass, we offer a lot of materials, a lot of things, a lot of that are easy, custom made, and already ready inside of the Marketing Center system. So when it comes to explaining the story of what's behind you as a person, like the entity of things and powerful behind you, that stuff is already there. And so the ones who lean into not recreating the wheel and doing something new and wasting a lot of time I find to be the ones who leverage the use of the brand the most. And two is the community, knowing that the community of the business is the brand. And we keep coming back to this, but I think the agents I see that are most successful are leveraging that aspect of the brand to be the most successful. So leveraging the automation and the technology and the community. So it all does go back to those trends we spoke earlier. I would, so much is based on this, what I would call the triangle of choice, right? And Gretchen, I know Felipe knows this really well, but this idea, you've got choices to make. You got great marketing. You can either spend a lot of money on something and do it very quickly, and you can do it's going to be very expensive to do. Or you can, do it quickly, not spend a lot of money, but the quality's not going to be. So it's this set of choice. By people just leveraging the existing content, they're putting out something great, doesn't cost them any money, they can do fast. And so it really does allow you to leverage the assets of the brand and build around Compass. And I see that as the definitive thing.
Definitely. Yeah. And so Felipe, with what Matt just said about that leverage, let's talk about the listing pitch. Let's talk about a listing appointment. How are you leveraging the power of the national brokerage of Compass within that for each one of our agents?
One trend that I love that I'm seeing lately is, and Gretchen, you talked about it earlier, is the power of the network, the agent network. We are one Compass across the entire country. And I'm really seeing agents dive into that, right? When they go into a pitch, not only do they talk about their strengths and their success in the industry, they talk about people like Gretchen and talk about her success and saying, I can call Gretchen right now and I have access to her clients because I have this whole network of the top agents in the country. So I love that agents are actually diving into how great that network is because actually they're seeing the benefits of it. I think there's other strategic elements that they're pitching. I think international is huge right now. I think we're definitely seeing the power of the international reach we have at Compass, not only digitally and through wealth mapping, but we signed a deal with Barnes International. So we have access now to their database of 150,000 customers. So I think they're really diving into showing how they can access buyers outside of the US borders. I think internally, they do lean a lot on our support staff. We have actually a very, very large, even in marketing, we probably have the largest marketing team of any brokerage. And I've seen a lot of our agents, we go on pitches with them. Alex and I go on pitches all the time. I have marketing strategists that go on pitches. We actually show up in their brochures because we do feel like a family and our agents do bring us in and we actually become part of their team. And they do show off about that. I've personally won a lot of pitches from other brokerages because I'll see the agent go in with one marketing person and I show up with my PR person, my digital advertising person, my designer, and the client's like, okay, I'm going to go with this team. He has more resources. So I think our agents do appreciate the level of, I think Gretchen, last time we met with you, it's like, I think I showed up with 4 people on the call and we were all just so excited. We all just want to jump in there and do more stuff for our agents. And I think clients see the value in that. And lastly, just because it's, we are a tech company, we've talked about it a lot. It's using technology to find the right target audience, right? Really using technology. We transfer that, across all channels, right? From digital, email, direct mail, whatever it is, making sure that we actually have a strategy in place to find that right potential buyer for the property and not waste our agents' time or money with these campaigns that they don't even know who they're reaching. So I think that wealth mapping tool that we have is key. It's actually helping us become a lot more successful.
Faster too.
Faster too, exactly.
Amazing. So one of the things you mentioned was resources and people. I think, I'm in Greater Philadelphia in the main line today, and I got to see agent experience managers, sales managers, marketing people here. So I think that's one thing I wanted to underscore. It's not just national presence where you get Felipe or Alex to join your meetings. There's people in market, in office. But Felipe, I think one question that has come in twice in the chat, so we might as well just take it now, is what are the qualifications for me, a new agent at Compass, to be part of the luxury at Compass group?
I love this because we actually, we changed the rules and it doesn't matter to me who the agent is. I work with luxury agents that have sold luxury homes for 20 years. And I work with agents who this is their first pitch for a luxury home. I work with them equally. For me, it doesn't matter who the agent is. I base it on are we going after a luxury property? Or are we going after a luxury buyer? And I love working with my, established luxury agents. But I have to say that when it's that agent that comes to me and says, hey, I usually don't work in luxury, but I have an opportunity to pitch this luxury, but I'm not, and they come scared because they think I'm just going to tell them, sorry, you're not a luxury agent. I tell them, I was like, oh no, this is my favorite thing. We're going to get you your first luxury listing. And I throw the whole team at them. And I love that. And we do these beautiful luxury listing presentations, the oversized, black silk books. And we throw, the whole, bathtub at them. So there is no membership. There is no, you don't have to be a member of the luxury team. If you have a potential to pitch a luxury property or you have a luxury listing already, we will sit down with you. I'll bring the whole team and we will help you out.
That's great. And so for anybody on the call that wants to connect with Felipe directly, I think his email address is pretty simple, felipe@compass.com.
Exactly.
Look out, Felipe.
He gets excited over the new ones too. I have to say, he brings this level of energy, whether it's $1 million property and that's luxury in your market, or $100 million property. It's pretty awesome.
I do love that. So Gretchen, one thing that I'm really interested, I can't believe it's already been 2 years since you've been here. When we're talking about the importance brand, we're talking about the Compass brand, but your own. How much was the Compass brand a consideration when you were evaluating the partnership with us?
I'm going to be super transparent here. When I came to Compass, I was going on my own. And I just said, I've watched Compass from afar. I've liked the brand as a whole. I knew enough to be dangerous, but I had a really good friend, Ruth Krishnan, who is a Compass agent. She and I were in a mastermind together. Y'all can all thank Ruth. And I just said to her, I said, well, I'm just going to go do it. They're coming to the market. I'm going to go put my name there and take their name and let's just see if it works out. And I'll try it for a year. And because it's hard to believe that there is a company that's like this from the outside looking in, when every other brokerage is slimming down and they are trying to do everything digitally and, cloud workspaces and all of that stuff. It's kind of like, is it really real? And so the brand was important, but I was kind of avant-garde and I felt like I already had a brand and I already had an established presence. And I just didn't realize until I peeked behind the curtain how truly impactful this brand and the people within this brand can be to your business if you take advantage of it, if you lean into it, because everybody has a different experience. We have 7 founders in the Raleigh market. There were 7 of us that started this market. We are all at very different trajectories in our businesses right now. And I don't know exactly where they line up, but I will tell you, I've attended every event. I have been on every call that I've been invited to be on. And I have leaned into the Compass experience and I've taken what they've given me and I've used it to help me grow my business and I've given it back to them. I've been a brand ambassador for Compass because, my business has grown. It's doubled since we've been here. Since we walked through the door, it has doubled and we've had a super tricky market for the last year. So that says a lot about the support that we get, about the help that we get. And I'll tell you, there is never a day that the Coley Group and Compass will ever divorce. We are lifers here. We love this company and we love the reach that we have within it. And, so if you're looking at this and you're evaluating and you're going, is it all really true? I challenge you to take a peek behind the curtain, because if you are of the right mindset and you are going to lean in and you really want to take advantage of everything that is here, you're going to get exactly what you put into it, out of it.
I love that. And so this might sound funny to you, but we've had someone ask how you built a following of almost 37,000 people on Instagram. So everybody, all the social questions, we're going to try to get to them right now. How did you build your Instagram following, Gretchen?
I started with video and I started with storytelling. And even when I only had a $400,000 house, people used to make fun of me in Raleigh because I was in there shooting a listing video. I was making sure everybody knew the story of this house. And it was kind of funny. Everybody used to make fun of me and now they're all copying me, right? So we did it on storytelling. I did it by turning my phone up and talking to people because I did not want to make phone calls when I came back into the real estate business in 2016. I'd been in new home sales previously, came to general brokerage. I was so embarrassed that I had come back that I refused to call any of my SOI. So I just started filming videos and I started really posting on social, using Instagram to its fullest. And that's my favorite place. But prior to that, in 3 years, I built a fitness business to 7 figures online using digital strategies, digital marketing, video, and selling it on social media. So I already had a base for it. It's very difficult, I think, now because the Instagram algorithm has changed so much to build a platform like that unless you're truly, truly giving value on the daily. And as everybody on this panel has said, giving value is all about helping people live their best life. We're humanistic in nature. We're aspirational. So if you can convey all of your marketing to lifestyle and how people live and enjoy the city that you live in, your following will grow a lot faster than just posting houses.
Yeah, that content is so key. And so, Matt, I know that you've got a lot of thoughts on video, but content as a whole. So what are you seeing and what do you recommend people do to stand out in the increasingly saturated digital space with their content?
Well, one is just, to me, everything old is new again right now. This idea that over the years, I've had a lot of agents come to me and be like, Matt, TikTok's launching. What do I got to do on TikTok? And there's always going to be a new thing, but if you see it all ends up coming back, larger companies innovate. And so like building an audience in any kind of chosen area, right? Find the one that works for you. Find the one that you start to build your own. Find the one that your actual sphere is on. That to me is the more important side of it, right? And so one just tip is like, don't feel you need to stretch out across every single account, get overwhelmed with lowering the quality because you're having to put things on 6 different platforms. Focus on a couple areas that you feel like you can do effectively. 2 is try to build, Gretchen's been able to describe, first you're going to do a lot of it yourself, then you're going to start to build some systems that are going to allow you, whether it's a team member who you can help bring in or a great photographer who the local market you can build a relationship with to show up your listings or follow you around for the day once a month. You got to build a couple systems to help you continue to grow your presence. And you have to invest. You have to put budget aside in your budget at the beginning of the year, whenever you do your planning, quarterly planning, monthly planning, whatever it is, to this effort. And because it is marketing for you. And so those to me are high level. What you can get into a whole other dialogue around specific tactics and trends to do. But again, getting back to our core, video is going to work no matter where you post it in, whether it's Threads or TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever it is. So if you're going to lean into one area, that's it.
Yeah. So Matt, what if I come to you and I say, video sounds great, but I don't like the sound of my voice, or I don't know what to say, or can I just show the house? Like, how do you get people over that edge of uncomfortability?
I would say if you don't want to talk about yourself, talk about someone else or something else, right? Like so much amazing content is people actually just educating and talking about things that maybe, again, like you don't have to feel like you personally always have to be the star. There's a lot of opportunity to develop a brand around curation, around talking about other people, and conducting interviews with other people. So many people follow passions in things that are tangential to real estate and build audiences around those, right? And then they build a community, like we've talked about, a tribe, and then they, that's their sphere. And so at the end of the day, you're gonna have to get over the fact a little bit, right? That if you don't like your voice, do a voiceover and music and an audio, whatever it is. But Gretchen, I'm curious when agents come to you and ask you that question, because I'm sure you do get that a lot. What do you tell them?
I got it today, actually, at the Compass office. And so I want to always point this out, because I do think for women, especially, you get it more from women. And I will tell you, I am not perfect. I am an absolute victim of it. I don't like the way things look. I don't like the way things sound. But getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, and you're going to hear me say this over and over, is really important. What you have to say is not about you. Get yourself out of it and think about the person that you're talking to. So what I say to my agents and people who don't want to do video is, just answer the last question on video that someone asked you. So the last time your phone rang, what was the question? Turn your camera up, press play, and answer that question. You don't have to post it. You don't have to do anything, no pressure, but save it. Because the next time you get that question, instead of answering it and calling that person back, I want you to send them the video. Connect with them eye to eye, space to space, and that kind of can help them ease into it a little bit. On this team, people see how it works. And I think once people get into an environment where they're truly seeing how fast video works. And literally, I will tell you, if you will be consistent for 60 days on YouTube, every penny that you spend will come back to you tenfold. I'm sure you would agree, Matt. Like it happens really fast, and it happens as quickly on Instagram as well. So just getting over the hump of realizing that people already know what you sound like. They already know what you look like. You're not fooling anyone if you're being authentic. You're sitting across the table talking to your friend at lunch. There's no difference in doing that than putting a video up and answering the question that your friend just asked you. So thinking about it in a little bit of a different perspective, because it's all just a mindset and it's a bunch of limiting beliefs that you're telling yourself that your success is tied to. So if you don't hear anything from me today other than this, it is let that belief be a belief in the past and start today a new day. Pick your camera up, video yourself, and at least send it to your clients.
You know, Dustin, can I add something? Because I love what Gretchen is saying. I think we're all very passionate, right? Everyone on this call, all the people listening are very passionate about the industry. And we speak to that passion, right? If you love the industry because of the market, talk about interest rates, go with what you like talking about. If you like architecture and interior design, talk about that. If you like the community that you live in and the parks and the school districts, talk about that, because that will allow you to be more comfortable. I think sometimes people feel like pressured to become something they're not. Oh, I have to talk about these things. No, you don't. Talk about, be authentic and talk about what your strengths are, right? And I think that will come through. Gretchen loves properties and listings, and you see the energy because you see that it's natural. It comes natural to you. So just do what comes natural. And I love that example, Gretchen, about like next time you get a question, record it. I think that's brilliant, because one thing I love, if you look at anyone on Instagram, I love going back, go back to the very first post. Yeah, even the most expert people, if you go back to the first one, oh, you see they're scrambling, and every week it gets better. And I think that also makes everyone feel better. Go to that expert and go to their first post 3 years ago, and you'll be like, okay, we all start in place.
You said that, because that's another thing. Everybody compares themselves to their aspirational person, right? But when you're beginning, you can't be that aspirational person, and you can't compare yourself to that. So I do that all the time too. I'm like a little stalker. I go all the way so that then I feel better about myself, and I'm like, okay, you know, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. You see their first video and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, they suck too. So we all got a place to start.
I love that too. So there's a piece of homework for everybody on the call today. Make sure today, pick up your phone and record a video and talk about something that engages you, but also that last question idea is perfect content. So I think we're gonna end with Alex. Alex, I want to look forward. I want to close out 23 really strong, and I want to get started super fast for 2024. So what's like the number one thing that you and the team are preparing for the Compass agents to hit the ground running when we come to January?
Yeah, great question. We're actually focusing on a few things, and Felipe and I are very excited. I think we're going to have a super strong end to the year. The first thing we're really doubling down on is our CRM and the wealth database. We started the year with roughly 32,000 hand-selected candidates that we've worked really closely with our wealth partner on to curate, and we're going to end the year closer to, I believe it's 100,000, Felipe. It might keep me honest here. And again, with full intentionality behind exactly who we're marketing to, and again, really leveraging also the partnership with Barnes and really looking at our international pipeline and how we can expand upon that. I think we're seeing, the most travel that we've seen since the pandemic is happening now, particularly with not only our clients, but our agents as well. And so we're really leveraging our personal relationship with Barnes when we have agents that are traveling abroad to really build those relationships, make sure they're getting FaceTime with clients and with the Barnes team as well while they're there. So that's something that we're seeing, again, just immediate success on. And so we're looking at the areas of opportunity, but again, with intentionality behind it so we can move very quickly into 2024. And then I think also just taking our own advice and really singing from the rooftops of the traction that we're seeing within the luxury space in each of our markets. We've hit #1 market share in luxury in each of the major markets that we service. And that's something we're super proud of. And I think we've maybe been a little too humble about it in the past. And so we're really putting a lot of intention again behind marketing the marketing, right? Really talking about what's working well, building out a full library of case studies that agents can use in their pitches, leveraging also just our team. I think that's something, that's a big reason why I even came to Compass, is how we've approached sort of the team we've built around our agents. And, in the marketing side, to Matt's credit, that was really people outside the real estate industry. It was something that was very appealing to me, of like why I came over was the opportunity to work with the best in the industry outside of real estate. And so, you know, Felipe is an example of that as well. And, you know, I'm very excited to continue with that, the team, and really look at ways that we can continue to support our agents and just kill it in 24.
Yeah. Yeah. One really tiny specific thing. And I heard your humbleness, but I look at a social media channel following of over 250 million people. And I know 4 of the people on this call that have put that together. So that's so amazing. And that's something that the content that your teams are putting together can be utilized by every person in every office. So that's a huge start. So 2024 is going to be probably a really interesting year. Felipe, Matt, and Gretchen, in that order, one parting tip or a note for the group, and then we're going to let everybody get on with their day. So Felipe, tell us your favorite thing for 24.
I'll be a little shallow. Aesthetics. I think, you know, it's getting more and more important. You know, it's getting very, very competitive, and it might be a fluffy thing, but get the best photographer you can. It's getting very competitive out there. I get a lot of great listings, and I see the photography and I'm like, oh my God, what a missed opportunity. It has to be top notch, people. It has to be top notch.
At any
Plus
price.
1,000 on that comment from Felipe, everyone. Please.
All right. So Matt, let's see if you can top that. Aesthetics over everything.
I mean, I think we talked about it, but break down those walls, break down those mental walls, I could say. This year is the year for you. Don't let fear hold you back, but make sure, make sure you invest in quality photography for yourself too, and your own business and your brand, not just for your listings. I'm gonna drop 3 people in the chat that I think 3 accounts that are great, that are all related to marketing. One is kind of around creativity and trends. One is around like digital content, and others around kind of brand strategy. I think these are great 3 people to read and follow to help you continue to learn.
Beautiful. Thank you for the reading. And so Gretchen, take us home. What are you focused on for 24 to make it the best year ever?
Well, 2023 is the year of the pivot, and we are diving all in on understanding and leveraging AI within the Compass platform and outside of it in order to enhance our marketing and make sure that everything is dialed in, and basically building out our brand as a whole, with content creation being the centerpiece. And aesthetics also are very, very important.
I love it. One other thing, so Matt just dropped in some handles to follow. One other thing that I've heard Matt say, and I don't know that we underscored it enough today, and then we'll let you go, is putting as much resources into the promotion of your content as you put into the creation of it. It's great to spend $1,000 or $5,000 on a video, but if you don't promote it with resources, people aren't going to see it. So I love that from Matt. Yeah. So listen, we're over time, but it's because we've got so much great thought leadership here. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you to our audience. And I'm looking at the chat. You've been super helpful today to let us know what you want to know about for the next one. So stay tuned. Live Talks will come back, and we're going to have great panelists like you've seen today. So Gretchen, Alex, Matt, and Felipe, thank you. And if there's any questions, make sure you reach out. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.